welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Friday, May 30th. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us. On June 4th at 7 p.m., Sunshine Cathedral in Fort Lauderdale will host an interfaith LGBTQ+ Pride service, welcoming individuals of all or no faiths. The event will celebrate Pride as an act of faith, resilience, and authenticity. Embracing the concept of Imago Dei, the divine image in every person, the gathering reminds the world of queer dignity and joy.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, the 5th anniversary of Queer News Tonight, with nearly 10,000 stories and 10 million views in 2024. We will produce the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th, Pride Fest Diversity Pride in August, and Pride Fort Lauderdale next February.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Liberal denomination won't favor resettling white people over the queer, brown, and black refugees of the world. After 4 decades of the Episcopal Church and the U.S. government working together, the Episcopal Church announced May 12th that it is terminating its partnership with the government to resettle refugees, citing moral opposition to resettling white Afrikaners from South Africa who have been classified as refugees by the Trump administration.
In a letter sent to members of the church, Sean W. Rowe, the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, said that the government, and I'm quoting Rowe, informed Episcopal Migration Ministries that under the terms of our federal grant, we are expected to resettle white Afrikaners from South Africa, whom the U.S. government has classified as refugees, end quote.
The request, Rowe said, crossed a moral line for the Episcopal Church, which is part of the global Anglican Communion that boasts among its leaders the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a celebrated opponent of apartheid.
Quote, in light of our church's steadfast commitment to racial justice and reconciliation and our historic ties with the Anglican Church of Southern Africa, we are not able to take this step, end quote, Rowe wrote. And he continued, accordingly, we have determined that by the end of the federal fiscal year, we will conclude our refugee resettlement grant agreement with the U.S. federal government. End.
In addition to ties with Tutu, the Episcopal Church has a long history of advocating against apartheid in South Africa. It first began altering its financial holdings in the region in 1966. And by the mid-1980s, the church voted to divest from companies doing business in South Africa.
In a statement, White House spokesperson Anna Kelly said the Episcopal Church's decision, I'm quoting Kelly, raises serious questions about its supposed commitment to humanitarian aid, end quote. Yeah. She argued, again quoting her, Afrikaners are no less deserving of refugee resettlement than the hundreds of thousands of others who were allowed into the United States during the past administration, end quote.
The Trump administration has otherwise all but frozen the refugee program, which Afrikaners are among the few, the possibly only, people granted entry as refugees since January. Shortly after he was sworn in, Trump signed an executive order that essentially halted the refugee program and stopped payments to organizations that assist with refugee settlement.
Afrikaners are white South Africans of Dutch descent. Rick Santos, head of the Church World Service, one of 4 resettlement groups suing the government, said in a statement, and I am quoting, "We are concerned that the U.S. government has chosen to fast-track the admission of Afrikaners while actively fighting court orders to provide life-saving resettlement to other refugee populations who are in desperate need of resettlement. By resettling this population, the government is demonstrating that it still has the capacity to quickly screen, process, and deport refugees to the United States. It's time for the administration to honor our nation's commitment to the thousands of refugee families it abandoned with its cruel and illegal executive order. End quote.
It is noticeable that the Trump administration seems unconcerned with queer, trans, black, and brown refugees while making white people of European descent a priority. What must the Queer God Squad think of that? The Queer God Squad names the obvious and outrageous racism of the Trump administration. We name it for what it is, and we condemn it for what it is. Absalom Jones, the once enslaved person who became the first black Episcopal priest, used to preach that God is a loving parent who always takes the side of the oppressed and distressed. I doubt that he would count the white Afrikaners in that number. Remember, these are family members. Some of whom were alive during this period. These are family members of the enforcers of apartheid, which was white minority rule in a black African country. Not just minority rule, but subjugation of the native black inhabitants. They couldn't vote. They couldn't run for office. They had to live in segregated tenement areas. It was a very harsh time. It was a very difficult time, and it was the white privileged European minority that did that. And now, within a generation of that being lifted, they now need safety.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we are turning away people who are running from war, running from famine, running from laws that they can be imprisoned or executed just for who they are. Got no room for any of those. But a boatload of white folks. Are you serious? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Queer God Squad's not for it.
No, not even a little bit.
And just to be clear, this has nothing to do with the tax-exempt status of the church. This is about grant money from the federal government that the Episcopal Church had already previously announced that they would not be accepting because of what the administration had already done through an executive order. So please do keep those things separated out. And I applaud the Episcopal Church and the Anglican Communion for those who are with this and saying, not only no, but hell no, this is just not acceptable.
This absolute blatant racism, excluding people who are queer, brown folk, black folk, and accepting white people from South Africa makes absolutely no sense to me. Anybody can see this, and if you can't see this, it's because you don't want to see it. Plain and simple. It's just racism.
It amazes me that the White House has no sense of irony. Anna Kelly had the nerve to actually stand up at a podium and say that that it raises serious questions about the church's supposed commitment to humanitarian aid. This is the government that has removed any chance of humanitarian aid going to, and again, let's say it one more time, queer folk, brown folk, black folk, people trans folk, people who don't look like the crazy folk that are running that White House right now.
And let us not forget, this is still part of the same church that asked the president to show mercy.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
This is the
You're
same
right on.
church that asked the president to show mercy to a particular group of people and then turn around and say this. This is just racism, it's bigotry, and let's call it out for what it is.
Yep.
And if you look at the crowds cheering the Nazi leadership in the 30s and 40s in Germany, and if you look at the people who were in charge of and maintained apartheid for several decades in the 20th century, and if you look at MAGA, you wouldn't know the difference. And that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yep.
That's all you need to say.
That's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, we want to invite you to join Sunshine Cathedral on a wonderful travel experience and help our mission for our community. Join us on the Florida AIDS Walk Pride Cruise. This unique 3-day cruise will sail from Miami on the $1 billion and ultra-deluxe 170,000-ton MSC Seascape on November 2nd, 2025. The cruise is for the Florida AIDS Walk. Your participation helps 13 vital beneficiaries in our community. The cruise is an incredible value starting at just $199 and is also a fundraiser for the Sunshine Cathedral. Parties, special events, and more aboard, including a special unlimited beverage and open bar with Wi-Fi for all 3 days for just $68. We invite you to join us on this amazing cruise for fun, this vital cruise for good.
I invite you to share this episode on your social media, and I also welcome you to find Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram. You can also like our bishop pages on Facebook. My page is Bishop Robert Griffin, D-Men, and Darrell's is Bishop Darrell Watkins, D-Men. We're also on TikTok. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will find also Bishop Talk, where I often talk with Bishop Darrell, interview queer religious leaders, activists, and scholars.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together.
Also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.